I think what I'd like to work with in this is to, sorry, to trim down a great deal. There's an enormous amount of activity, an enormous amount of physicality, coloration in certain ways, that's stepping outside the core of the music to achieve its goal, and by default, maybe unintentionally cheating the music and text a little bit, because it's like a cake with too much icing and not enough cake. We have to increase the volume of the cake and trim down some of the icing. It's also, well, we'll get to it in a minute, but what I would like to do is, let's see if we can, let's just say that that Dorabella and Fior de Ligi are here, and let's just say that they're there, and let's just say that they're idiots, and let's just say that you're not, and you've been around the block and they haven't, and let's just say that they think that their boyfriends are going to go away and still be faithful, and you just can't believe it. So let's just say that much, and let's just say it with your voice and your face to them, but not to move right now. Okay? And feel free to use the furniture as a position of authority on the subject of men. Anything with your head, okay? Instead, fedeltà, poverine, fedeltà, you really believe that. So there are so many places to go with that. You expect faithfulness? You expect faithfulness? Oh, you expect faithfulness. I want to see all of that and not a lot of stuff, because you're capable of it. Also, watch out. In soldati. So that the center vowel is the lean and you're off. If you extend in uomini, in soldati, you're mispronouncing the Italian. You're also taking out the disbelief. In men, in soldiers, which is even worse. So there's where to go with it. I can't believe you believe in men, but in soldiers, notorious. So, you know, so there's where to dig. Don't look outside the text or the music right now. The ornamented fedeltà, right now you're with it totally. It had all those gradations that I just mentioned until you had a decoration to sing, and then it became about singing the decoration. Don't do a decoration if you can't make the decoration have a purpose. I have directed this show twice with very famous conductors, one actually very good, James Devine. And there were no all the traditional soubrette things that are going in now for auditions, none of those decorations were there. But if you want to do, make it say something. Otherwise, skip it, because what Mozart wrote is really good. Okay? And then no soubrette laugh afterwards. You have to make it happen in the word fedeltà. That's the joke. It's like, you believe in faithfulness? Faithfulness. So make it work there, because otherwise you don't do it on the word, but then you do a laugh as a replacement. And we don't even know we're doing those things as singers, but that's what we do. Less head activity. Try with less head activity.
Okay.
There's too much craning and too much moving. So I'm not hearing the list of awful things men do because I'm watching your head.
Oh, okay.
If you were itemizing it, they're dishonest, they're faithless, they cheat, they lie, you wouldn't have to move at all, and I would get it. But if I do this, it doesn't mean as much, actually, when you deliver the text. Support, and then if you want the second one softer, you'll have a place to go. But if it's that wide on top, it gets a little high, or a little shallow. Let's say this is someone who's been around the block and had some really seriously bad experiences with men, and for a moment it gets really serious and really dark for her. Through that pietà, this happened to me, and you forget you're speaking to two idiots, and it becomes about Despina's experience with someone or ones who really cheated on her, made her feel horrible, so that it really feels like an intensely internal thing, and you forget you're talking to them just for that moment until the end of that section. And really play it for keeps. Do you know who Anna Magnani is? Go look on YouTube. An Italian woman who was a great film actress who was very gutsy. That section is what that's about. It's someone who has been through the mill. That's why she knows all this stuff. She doesn't know it from being cute. She knows it from having suffered. And then she can present it on a platter to two idiots in a way they'll understand. But for this section, let's just say she steps out of that mode of presentation into Despina's personal experiences. Very good. Now, let's do it one more time and then we'll talk about the next section. Even more still, more focused with your eyes, more serious. No stuff, no fingers, no presentation. This happened to me and it was horrible. Just really, you can trust yourself to do that, because in contrast to the stuff you do, and you did so well when we trimmed away stuff. You delivered the comedic text so well about how false they are. This has to be a contrast to that. Otherwise, it's more of the same. And you can tell from the music he wasn't writing more of the same. Good. Now listen to the next bit of music. That is her coming down from her fit. On to the next, back to earth, back to the girls, back to what we should do about it. You can hear her let go in that. So we can start actually. You don't waste opportunities that Mozart gives you. In the orchestra, you hear everything that you're thinking before you say it. So you really liked that thought. We hear it in the orchestra, and you repeat the thought. I like that. I like it very much. Then we hear it again. So you repeat it again. And it's, yes, this is going to be my new mantra. Pay them back in kind. They do that to us, we do it to them. So really use the orchestral music to feel the impulse for the next thing you say. Don't wait. There's no waiting in Mozart. The music is actually dictating emotion. It's either reactive or active, usually active. So go with that. On the A naturals, they're a little too spread and open in ah, so they're becoming an ah. So we need a bit of an ah, yeah, because otherwise they want to be a D pull to an A.
Okay.
So, yeah. So let's try that, just ah, so that when you get to them, you just don't widen so much and think a little more yeah, so let's start with the, we'll get to that actually, Noby. But let's start with the Padyam part. That's actually stopping the breath completely and straightening the note out so the vibrato's leaving a little bit.
Okay.
Oh, really feel it like it's Puccini. I'm going to overdo it right now for freedom of breath and bloom so that you're not so tempted to.
Okay.
Let's just look at that, then we'll go backwards a little bit. Yeah, it's going to feel better. fluctuation. They're too fast to really do much with. They're ridiculous, but we have to nod to them. So really give it a little bit of fluctuation. Slowly for a moment, because I need to see mechanically what's going on when we go toward the A. Oh, that's Russian. Yeah. We're going on to the A's. We want to continue. Let the breath go. You can even take it at half that tempo. Shouldn't change when it gets fast, but you want to gun it a little bit when it's fast. That's much better. So practice it with a boom at that tempo and then increase the tempo a little bit. Don't change the mechanical thing, because the guarantee that you're putting on the A is killing all that overtone you have when you do it slowly. The trills are there, so they're there. So you can do them when it's fast. I just wasn't hearing them when it was fast. And I felt like the first one indicated it, and then the next ones didn't even. And don't settle for that, because you can do it, and you should then, because you can. Yeah, I think it's really important that you trust two geniuses, Mozart and Da Ponte, and that you give over to them and think very carefully about augmenting it with stuff. It's dangerous to go too far with it. There's a Così at the Met that's coming back in the spring. It's a really lovely production with a Despina prone toward cutesiness. Go see it so you know what not to do. Because there's a danger when we are of a time like ours, that doesn't always have a link back to older traditions because too much time has passed, to lose track completely of the line back to the poetry and the music and put it in the frame of a sitcom or romantic comedy, stuff that we know and grew up with. That is not the place to go with this. If you have this much acting talent, focus it into the text and the music in a way that really makes the most of it and then makes the most of you. The more you give over to the material, whether it's this or show tunes or standards, the more you shine as a performer. And the more you gave to the comedy and the seriousness of this number, the more I was interested in the gradations and the shadings that you were doing. But if there's too much stuff, we don't recognize your capability, really. You are actually drowning it a little bit in shape. So be very careful about it, because when you don't, you have a lot to say, actually. You have a lot of ability with slight nuances, changes in the emotional texture. And that's what Da Ponte is about. He's about human beings. Human beings change like that. That's how big it is. And it's just, the more you work from that, the more you're going to think yourself, oh God, of course I can pull this out of there, and then I can go there with this, rather than how do I dress this up and decorate it? It's not necessary. You're more talented than that. So really think about that. Think about trimming down, more stillness, more focus in text, more focus in your face. Your face is so amazingly expressive. So really concentrate on that a lot. Trust your material and trust yourself more. And you don't need to decorate it or impress us. Actually, all you need to do is go inside of it and you pull out really interesting things. Okay, thank you.